All right, you guys, welcome to the video. We got another one for y'all today. It is day 5 of the 13 days of Twitchmas. Make sure y'all drop a follow. We are live every day from now until December 31st. Hella content for y'all, variety content. We got an ITB cipher coming up tomorrow. We got an Ox battle coming up tomorrow. And we have a lot of other stuff. Now, let's get into this. The Legal Eagle, my guy. I've been watching him for years. He's pretty much the #1 YouTube lawyer. I've been waiting for him to break down the whole Drake Kendrick lawsuit, and I was like, bro, please get to it. He finally put it out today, so we're gonna check it out. I'm gonna let y'all know what I think. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Feel free to check out the other reactions, hip hop reactions, Kendrick Lamar reactions. Go check out that playlist. I did a GNX album review and some other albums, some other songs, deep cuts, all types of stuff. Go check it out. Let me know what y'all think about this. Legal Eagle, what's up, my boy? What's good?
Rappers, they're just like us. They settle disputes the way we all do. And while since this is America, you might assume that's by murdering your contemporary with a gun, it's actually by filing.
Did he just get an audio of the Not Like Us beat turned into like the little judge? What's that? Is that from SVU or is that just a Law and Order sound? Bro, y'all listen to that. Listen to that.
Rappers, they're just like us. They settle disputes the way we all do. And while since this is America, you might assume that's by murdering your contemporary with a gun, it's actually by filing dubious lawsuits. I'm looking at you, Drake.
Look, today was an obstacle course, okay? And I brought my A game.
Now with the song Not Like Us, Kendrick Lamar seemed to have struck the knockout blow in his long-running feud with Drake. The diss track reads Drake for filth, accusing him of being a pedophile,
certified lover boy, certified pedophile,
hooking up with Lil Wayne's girlfriend when Wayne was in prison,
fucked on Wayne girl while he was in jail, that's conniving,
and pretending to be from the streets when he's really just a rich kid.
You got future when you didn't see the club. Hey, what, little baby, help you get your lingo up. What, 21, get your first street cred.
The song surged to 900 million streams before Drake finally fought back. Instead of diss tracks, Drake filed 2 diss petitions claiming that companies affiliated with Lamar artificially boosted the popularity of Not Like Us with bots and Payola. And he accused his own music label, Universal Music, of defaming his character by promoting the song. And news of Drake's legal filing sparked a, quote, massive 440% increase in the song's sales and a 20% rise in streams. And with all due respect to Mike Masnick, maybe it's time we retire the Streisand effect and just call it the Drake effect. Or the Aubrey effect.
Yeah, Drake! Drake!
And this also means that Lamar is so good, he goaded Drake into filing legal diss tracks that are making Kendrick millions of dollars. And there's a lesson here, and it's this.
And if I've learned anything this year, it's that none of us, not a single one of us, not even me, should ever pick a fight with Kendrick Lamar.
They not like us. They not like us.
Hey.
Hey.
Bro, why I thought that was
not like you.
Why did I think that was Diddy for a second? Well, just for a second though.
He will make your hometown not like you. The next time Drake sits courtside at a Raptors game, they're gonna Forrest Gump him. Sight's taken.
This is true, and that's why Legal Eagle is team.
Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. Bro, imagine if you're Drake, right? Serena is one of his exes. She over here making jokes about you at an award show? That's crazy, gang.
K-Dot. So we know Kendrick got the upper hand rhetorically, but does Drake have leverage in a court of law? Let's find out. Now, there are several things that could eventually become lawsuits here. The first is Drake versus UMG and iHeartMedia, and I can't believe that Drake is forcing me to take the side of UMG. Ugh.
What did he say?
And I can't believe that Drake is forcing me to take the side of...
Dear UMG, no. My use of Not Like Us is not copyright infringement. See all non-licensed clips used for fair use, commentary, criticism, and educational purposes. Ooh.
UMG. Ugh. But in Not Like Us, Lamar blasted Drake as a, quote, certified pedophile and someone whose name should be, quote, registered and placed on neighborhood watch. At issue are the statements.
Say, Drake, I hear you like I'm young. You better not ever go to cell block 1. Certified lover boy, certified pedophiles. Why you trolling like a bitch? Ain't you tired? Trying to strike a chord and it's probably A minor.
Now these are
not he put the version in there that got the crowd in the back.
references to allegations that Drake has had relationships with underage women. Drake, of course, denies those allegations.
I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested. Drake is not a...
Oh my God, I forgot how bad the Heart Part 6 was. I forgot how bad this was. Y'all can go check out my Heart Part 6 reaction for when it happened. Bro, I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested. As if anyone being famous is a reason why they couldn't be a predator, when in reality, people being famous damn near seems to increase the probability that they are. Like, oh my God.
Drake, of course,
He's so
denies those
bad.
allegations.
I'm way too famous for the shit you just suggested. Drake is not a name that you gon' see on no sex offender list.
And when people heard the song,
That's not even a bar.
they quickly picked up on the accusations and wondered whether Drake would sue Kendrick Lamar for defamation. But Drake hasn't so far sued Lamar. Instead, he filed a pre-suit discovery petition against iHeartMedia and United Music Group, accusing those companies of knowingly damaging Drake's reputation by releasing the song. The petition would
That wasn't my attention.
by releasing the song. The petition was filed in Texas, where iHeartMedia is headquartered and where Drake is domiciled. In Texas, Rule 202 of the Texas Rule of Civil Procedure allows a person to request permission from a court to take depositions before a lawsuit is formally filed. Now, the purpose of this kind of petition is to determine whether there are grounds to file a lawsuit and who the proper parties might be. Now, usually discovery happens after the lawsuit has already been filed, but there are limited circumstances when you can request discovery before filing the lawsuit itself. And according to this petition, UMG approved the release of Not Like Us, despite knowing that its lyrics, cover art, and music video besmirched Drake's character. Quote, before it approved the release of the song, UMG knew that the song itself, as well as the accompanying album art and music video, attacked the character of another one of UMG's most prominent artists, Drake, by itself. And according to this petition, UMG approved the release of Not Like Us, despite knowing that its lyrics, cover art, and music video besmirched Drake's character. Quote, before it approved the release of the song, UMG knew that the song itself, as well as the accompanying album art and music video, attacked the character of another one of UMG's most prominent artists, Drake, by falsely accusing him of being a sex offender engaging in
How would UMG know that the accusations are false?
pedophilic acts, harboring sex offenders, and committing other criminal sexual acts. Drake argues that UMG had the ability to prevent his reputation from being damaged. Quote, pursuant to its rights under various contracts, UMG has exclusive control over the licensing of Not Like Us and could have refused to release or distribute the song or require the offending material to be edited and or removed. But UMG chose to do the opposite. UMG designed
Okay, so, right. So basically, Drake thinks that just because he's their biggest artist or one of their biggest artists, they should block music from coming out? Okay. That don't make sense to me. That don't make sense. So, like, because he's talking about you, they're supposed to assume it's false and block the song from coming out or censor his song. That's crazy. UMG know what the artists be doing. They're not stupid. I think they do too. I'm gonna give it a buck because they did have Sir Lucian Grange, CEO UMG, in that Diddy lawsuit. He got himself out of that real quick, but they was saying he was funding them Diddy parties and attending. So I'm gonna just say the apple don't fall too far from the tree. Your besties, Drake was besties with the UMG CEO too. Okay.
designed, financed, and then executed a plan to turn Not Like Us into a viral mega hit with the intent of using the spectacle of harm to Drake and his businesses to drive consumer hysteria and, of course, massive revenues. That plan succeeded, likely beyond UMG's wildest expectations. And it appears this conspiracy goes so deep that Drake himself is on it, because by filing this petition, he's driving tons and tons of more listens to the song that he hates so much. Now,
Yeah, didn't they say that Not Like Us streams was up like some crazy percent after the, like, a lot of us were forgetting about it. I've had Not Like Us in my rotation a lot more since this came out. Facts.
there were tons of headlines about this case saying that Drake sued Universal Music for defamation, but that's not true. The petition only mentions defamation once in paragraph 17, where it says that Drake might have enough facts to file certain tortious claims against defendants, including but not limited to defamation. That's not the fiery response to pedophilia allegations that some hip-hop fans expected from Drake, especially since Not Like Us wasn't the first time Lamar called Drake a pedophile. On May 4th, Lamar released Meet the Grahams, a scathing critique of Drake and his parents, Sandy and Dennis Graham. He says,
Wow, we're getting a legal eagle breakdown of the Kendrick Drake beef. Wow.
Drake's company employs sex offenders who keep him on monthly allowance.
He got sex offenders on Hovio that he keep on a monthly allowance.
Lamar also addressed Drake's
Hovio.
son Adonis.
Dear Adonis, I'm sorry that man is your father. Let me be honest. It takes
Yo, who's still listening to Meet the Grams? If you still listen to this, like, this one of those songs I don't want to go back to. I got the message.
And he alleged that Drake has a secret daughter.
Dear baby girl, I'm sorry that your father not active inside your world.
He blamed Drake's parents for raising a horrible fucking person.
You listen to it today? Ah, nah. Antonio got it. Antonio got it. You crazy. You crazy. Nah, I will say, like, it sonically, it's a nice listen in a dark type of way. For sure.
You raised a horrible fucking person.
It's like listening to it again sends me right back to when it came out, bro. When this first came out, bro, this was crazy. Oh my God. I could literally remember what it was like, y'all, when, bro, the people that weren't there at the time, they're just not gonna get it. They're not gonna get it, bro. All these songs back to back, man.
The nerve of you, Dennis. Sandra, sit down. What I'm about to say is heavy. Now listen.
And ouch, even in art, those are serious claims. But Drake has not so far sued over any of them, at least not yet. In part because Kendrick Lamar has good First Amendment defenses. He has the right to express an honest opinion about Drake as a public figure, as long as that opinion is not intentionally spurious and malicious. And if you've watched this channel before, then you probably know that when someone makes offensive comments about a public figure, the public figure can only sue if they can prove the statements were made with actual malice. And in this context, actual malice means that the statement was made with knowledge of its falsity or with reckless disregard for the truth. And this is a much higher standard than for a private individual and requires evidence that the defendant acted with intentional or extreme disregard for the accuracy. And
That's why it's so hard to actually win. I would love to go back in time and experience it again. Facts. But it's cool though. That's why I'm glad like I have my reactions up, because I could like go back and see like my original reaction.
it's particularly hard if your opinion is based on revealed public facts. Now, we talked about this at length in the video about Cardi B's defamation lawsuit against the YouTuber Tasha. In over 30
Now he put wet ass plaintiff. Oh, he trolling.
YouTube videos, Tasha K falsely claimed that Cardi B was a prostitute, used drugs, and had contracted sexually transmitted diseases.
Ooh.
A jury found that these were false allegations that caused significant harm to Cardi B's reputation and emotional well-being. The jury found that Tasha acted with actual malice. They awarded Cardi B over $4 million in damages. So if Drake sues Lamar, he'd have to prove that Lamar knew that Drake was not a sex offender or made defamatory statements with a reckless disregard for the truth. But this case is...
And this is why I say, even if he were to sue Kendrick or he would somehow get roped in, I don't think Drake would win, because this is the technicality Drake could have. Oh, well, okay, we got the picture of him with Kylie Jenner when she was 16, him kissing her on the cheek. We got the girl on the stage, okay, where she was like, what, 17? How? Yeah, I think she was 17. And he was kissing on her and stuff. And then we have Millie Bobby Brown, which is question marks. You going to dinner dates with a 13, 14-year-old multiple times, inviting her to your show, having her on your yacht, solo dolo. It's some things that look a little like, you know? So Kendrick could say, well, where I'm from, it's not legal to have any type of relations with someone that's 16, or technically you're not a PDF file, you're an EDPDF file or whatever. It's like an infinity file or something. It's some crazy stuff like that. But Drake's gonna be like, oh, well, I'm technically not a PDF because the minors I'm with aren't prepubescent, they're post-pubescent or whatever the hell you call them. So yeah, they're between like 14 and 18 or 17, you know. That's your defense. Oh, well, I went to a state or a country where it was legal to be with a 15-year-old. So technically I'm not a PDF file because it was legal where I was at. Is that what he gonna say? Kendrick could say, well, colloquially, where we're from, PDF file means minors, all kids. So I wasn't using the literal definition. He could say that. He'd be like, I'm not using the prepubescent kids or whatever as a qualification. I'm using what we understand as a PDF file. If you're a 30 something and you're with or around or 20s, late 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s and up, and you with a 15, 16, 17-year-old, that makes you a PDF to us. So that's why I think he's can't even really win that for real. Yo, Mac with the W resub. I don't know where my sound alerts at. I don't know where they're at. Thank you for the sub, bro. W Mac in the chat.
Is not directly analogous to Cardi B's defamation case because Lamar offered his commentary about Drake in the context of a song. Song lyrics often feature metaphor, hyperbole, and creative expression, which courts generally don't interpret as factual statements in defamation cases. For example, in 2005, the U.S. Court of Appeals for the Sixth Circuit ruled that rap lyrics performed by George Clinton did not defame record producer Armin Baladian. Clinton referred to Baladian as
he's a disgrace to the species. Into his face with some feces.
Judge Alan E. Norris, writing for a 3-judge panel, said, quote, there was no specific allegation such as an act of child abuse that could be proven. For instance, the statement that Armin is a disgrace to the species represents the kind of puerile taunt that, for better or worse, is typical of rap music. The court said, quote, even speech that is crude, what the court calls rhetorical hyperbole, vigorous epithet, and loose figurative or hyperbolic language merits protection. The court also dismissed claims against
Court calls rhetorical hyperbole, vigorous epithet, loose figurative hyperbolic language. So all of those things are protected against defamation if someone's being hyperbolic or using hyperbole as a rhetorical device in some type of like literature or song or art or whatever. That's interesting. See, this is why I want to see Legal Eagle in particular, because he'd be able to like pull the old cases and all that type of stuff.
Court said, quote, even speech that is crude, what the court calls rhetorical hyperbole, vigorous epithet, and loose figurative or hyperbolic language merits protection. The court also dismissed claims against retailer Meyer. The court ruled that Meyer, as a distributor of the album, could not have had prior knowledge of the allegedly defamatory content. If distributors were held liable, this could discourage the free exchange of ideas, thereby chilling protected speech. So is Drake's potential defamation claim more like Cardi's or like Clinton's? Well,
that's essentially what Drake is trying to do, get the distributors to censor music. So you think so highly of yourself, you think because you're one of the most valuable artists, they're gonna just like block anyone from ever being able to say anything negative about you? What type of precedent does that set? That's why this whole pretending they care about smaller artists thing is so annoying from him, because it's like what you're implying they should do would hurt all the artists that are not big. So they can't say nothing about a person that's bigger than them, because then they could get shut down because you said something about Taylor Swift in your song. Okay, we gonna block it. Like, you know, imagine that's what essentially he wants them to do, which is ridiculous.
Lamar could argue that his comments about Drake were never intended to be factual, that both he and Lamar have created fictional personas, and that the person referred to in the song is a character. He could also state that he was making exaggerated comments about Drake in order to win a rap beef, and he could argue that Drake didn't suffer any damages because the hip-hop fans are well aware of how rappers use hyperbole.
And the crazy thing, Drake's numbers were up the most out of all rappers throughout the beef, his catalog. So unless you lost some deals behind the scene or something, how do we know that you suffered a loss? What business loss did you truly have? You still got your Nike deal. You still got your contract with UMG. OVO, you got your label. I mean, what stopped because of this? Outside of you just not being able to control your narrative anymore.
But in response, Drake could argue that his case is more like Cardi B's because Lamar made specific allegations about Drake having sexual relationship with minors, and these allegations hurt his reputation. Everyone is talking about these claims, and the more people who listen to the song, the more widespread the belief that Drake is interested in underage girls. Now, obviously, if you're going to torture your tough guy rap persona and file a dubious lawsuit, you'll want a good lawyer. Probably one that tells you not to file that pre-lawsuit petition. But if you
So he's saying Okay, hold on. I thought that was an ad. Okay. What's this? Oh, okay, that is the ad. Is it still in there? Okay, yeah. It was quick ad. Okay, back to it.
Distributing and promoting the track. In the Clinton case, the court did not hold Meyer responsible for selling the album because, quote, the complaint makes no claim that Meyer had any familiarity with the lyrics prior to distributing the album containing them, but instead premises liability upon the act of distribution to an internet audience. This is not enough. To hold otherwise would be to impose a duty on retailers of books and music to screen those products for potential defamatory material. Not only would that burden be onerous, it could potentially have a chilling effect upon protected speech, because retailers, in an abundance of caution, might stop selling some categories of artistic products, such as rap music.
Exactly. Once again, why Drake is not of the culture. Because hip hop rap started as a rebellious in nature, something rebellious in nature. You know, maybe sorta in some ways going against the system. You could argue in some ways. But like, it was expression about oppression, essentially. So if things like rap, right, like it says right here, if you were to censor, right, music, like, I don't know, bro. I don't know. That has deeper cultural implications, because then it just goes to show how much you don't care about the culture. Because if you're saying, oh, I'm big enough to where y'all need to stop anyone from saying anything about me, or people that's this big should be able to have this immunity to critique, to where you want the distributors to stop distributing the material if it's against one of their bigger artists. What about if people are critiquing the system? What if the government could be like, oh, y'all can't critique us in the music, it's defamatory? I don't know. I don't think that's possible, but I'm just throwing it out there to see the bigger picture about it. Because it's like, if that were to happen, like it says right here, it could have a chilling effect upon protected speech, because retailers, in an abundance of caution, might stop selling some categories of artistic products such as rap music to avoid liability. That would be big, because it's like, even if they're not censoring each individual song or artist, they might say, oh, well, it's common in rap for them to say defamatory things about other people, so let's stop selling this so we don't get sued for defamation for distributing the material. Or you would make it cost so much more for everyone in the industry if they were to actually have to filter through and have departments that scan through whatever project or music is put out to make sure there's nothing defamatory, and then having a process where they censor it. It would just like cost so much money on both ends. So that would just be bad for artists. That would be a bad precedent to set. Because then anyone can essentially sue or censor someone else if they have enough money, and stop them from being able to express their perspective. But I'm not surprised seeing this come from Drake, considering how he carries himself. But like, he just keep making it obvious, like, how detached he really is from the culture. My sub auto share, yeah, it showed it like 11 minutes ago, I think.
Music to avoid liability. But Drake would counter that, unlike Meyer, UMG knew the content of the track that it distributed and arguably helped produce it. However, UMG represents both artists, and both artists knowingly engaged in a years-long rap battle, and that opens up the possibility of using consent as a defense. And there's yet another wrinkle here. In Lamar's song 616 in LA, he claimed to have a mole inside of Drake's management company. He said the mole was spilling the tea about all of Drake's dirty little secrets, and Drake responded by saying that he worked with a mole and, quote, we plotted for a week and fed you the information about Drake's allegedly secret daughter. So Drake says these...
That's what's so crazy. He said we plotted for a week and fed you the information. He never said which information he fed Kendrick. Because like, when you say the information, you making it seem like you fed him all the stuff he said in his song to make him look crazy. But would that mean that you fed them the PDF file stuff too? Because you did say in Tailor Made, oh yeah, talk about young girls as a gift for me, in the voice of Tupac. right? So it kind of looks like you're saying you fed all the information, the fake darter, the PDF file stuff. Yeah, he said that. Remember in Heart Part 6, he was like, the Epstein angle was what I expected. First of all, he didn't even mention Epstein. He mentioned Weinstein. Now you self-reporting because Epstein was on some whole other shit. Whole other shit. So it make your ass look crazy that 2 times without Kendrick, you're putting these things on yourself. And then you telling us you fed the information. I don't know. Because when I think about it, it just don't make sense. Because it's like, okay, if you fed just the darter information, wouldn't you say that?
Supposed mole was more
Wouldn't you try to make it clear that you didn't feed all the information? Because then when you come back and you trying to say, oh, defamation, you literally said in your songs that you fed him all the information he used against you. So how is it defamation if you're literally saying you... Just saying, it's not adding up.
A double agent. If this is the case, and there is evidence that Drake fed Lamar lies, that would cut against the claim that Lamar knowingly spread malicious lies. But
Exactly.
Drake also used UMG.
Come on, see, that's why we need the big thinkers in the room. He said it.
The supposed mole was more like a double agent. If this is the case, and there is evidence that Drake fed Lamar lies, that would cut against the claim that Lamar knowingly spread malicious lies.
That's the whole main factor in defamation. You have to prove that the person knowingly spread misinformation about you. So if that's the case, and you're saying you fed Kendrick information, that would mean he believed the information he had. And your goal was to make him believe whatever information you allegedly fed to him. So that would literally show right there alone, defamation claim cooked. Because you can't say he knowingly spread lies and misinformation if you're telling us you lied to him to throw him off. Drake is so dumb. And his lawyers, I told y'all his lawyers are working against him. I wouldn't be surprised if his lawyers are working for UMG.
But Drake also accused UMG and iHeartMedia of payola. Now, payola is the practice of secretly paying or offering incentives to broadcasters, music platforms, and other intermediaries to promote specific songs, artists, or content without disclosing the arrangement to the audience. The term comes from combining pay and Victrola, a brand of early record players, and the term became widely recognized in the 50s and 60s during the radio era when record labels would pay radio DJs to play certain songs more frequently. Now, arguably, there's nothing at common law that would prevent paying someone to play a song, but these days, payola is illegal. Under 47 USC 317, the law states, all matter broadcast by any radio station for which any money, service, or other valuable consideration is directly or indirectly paid, or promised to, or charged, or accepted by the station so broadcasting from any person shall, at the time the same is so broadcast, be announced as paid for or furnished, as the case may be by such person.
I wonder if people knew, like, because payola still happens. If people knew and they were to like just be honest and be like, this song's being paid to be pushed, there was like a disclaimer on Spotify or on YouTube or a radio station before every song that's paid to be pushed, do y'all think people would feel differently about songs that's popular if they knew, like if you could literally see this song is an ad, paid ad, and then the song's being played once an hour every day on the radio or 2 times an hour? You know how those songs that was on so much that was annoying, if people could hear this is a paid promotion of this song before the song played, would that change how people feel about popular songs if they knew how much money was being put in to push it? Part of me feels like people would feel a little different because people hate ads, people hate something being pushed on them. So like say like a song like Happy by Pharrell, that song was on all the time. If it was like, this is a paid promotion, and then that shit was coming on 2-3 times an hour every day, part of me feels like people feel different versus, you know, and that's why clearly that rule is in place. They don't follow it, but that's why this law had to be put in place. It's the label's job. Oh, I don't think it's a problem for them to pay to push your song. Like, you have to market. But I'm saying specifically for the Payola stuff, specifically for paying to get your song spins on the radio or paying to get in a playlist or whatever, those type things. I wonder how people would feel if they knew that that was why the song was getting pushed rather than it genuinely just being popping.
Person. And under 47 USC 508, it's illegal for a broadcaster to knowingly air paid content without disclosing the sponsorship or payment arrangement. And the disclosure has to be made at the time of the broadcast. This rule applies to individuals involved in the creation, production, or distribution of broadcast content, including employees and agents of the broadcaster. And Payola is arguably bad because it misleads the public into thinking that an artist is popular through merit, word of mouth, when in fact a label is paying to promote that artist. And it hurts.
That's what I was saying. Like, I wonder. We'll never know because they're never going to be honest, but like, it plays a role. That's why they want to hide it, even if they are doing it, right? Because it's like, these labels could just as easily be like, nah, let's do this the legal way, above the table. We're going to disclose, I'm going to pay you to do this, and you're going to disclose that it's an ad every time. They could easily do that, but they're not doing it. So there clearly has to be something to like tricking people into thinking it's organic, thinking it's authentic. That's why there'll be these underground new artists that, oh, they're independent, the whole time they signed to a label, got a marketing team, got a budget, this rollout is executed perfectly. You know, there's a reason why they don't want people to know that they're signed, they got a team. It's something, the idea that something is authentic and organic is appealing to people. So I feel like with the music, it's the same thing. That's why they're not doing it. Yeah, Drake definitely had to benefit off this. No way he didn't. No way he didn't. That's the part where I'm like, wow, you're really bold enough to try to bite the hand that fed you when they did this for you?
It hurts musicians who aren't signed to major labels because they don't have the resources to promote that work. And in the modern streaming era, Payola has taken on new forms like paying streaming platforms, playlist curators, or influencers to artificially boost streams, likes, or placements in popular playlists. And that's why the Federal Trade Commission regulates influencer marketing. In February of 2020, the FTC released guidance stating that, quote, when companies launder advertising by paying an influencer to pretend that their endorsement or review is untainted by a financial relationship, this is illegal payola. And in his other petition against UMG, which we'll get to.
Right. And okay, let's say they got a TikToker they paid to dance to a song. They can't put like a disclaimer, oh yeah, I was paid by so-and-so to promote the song. I really love this song, y'all. Like, da-da-da. People are going to feel like it's inauthentic. That's what it is. If you do that, then it's like, oh, you were paid to say that. That's why they keep it below the table for real. Because it just doesn't feel as real. It doesn't have as much reach as if it feels like organic. When it's artificial, it don't hit the same. If someone's like, oh yeah, I got paid to do this TikTok by so-and-so label, and then they start dancing, it just wouldn't, it wouldn't hit the same. I do think it could still work, but it just wouldn't be as effective as just keeping it secret. Drake is in decline. Yeah. Yep. Agree. He's like throwing a temper tantrum. They get paid by getting the green light to review the song album. Yeah. Yeah, and certain labels will take off copyright or allow a person to get paid for reviews depending on like how big their channel is. There's like other little ways to get around it, which I don't think that's bad. I mean, personally, I think you had a right to turn it on and off for whoever you want. Just like if somebody friends with an artist and they react to their song on a video or a stream, they could literally, turn the copyright off for their video. Like, that's just part of having connections and networking. But I do think it's interesting, kind of seeing him explain it like this, because it's like, there's a reason it has to be this way, but it's like, it doesn't get enforced though. It doesn't get enforced. This is how Drake built his whole career up. Fake padded stats and having the UMG, what's it called? The UMG stimulus package.
artificially boost streams, likes, or placements in popular playlists. And that's why the Federal Trade Commission regulates influencer marketing. In February of 2020, the FTC released guidance stating that, quote, when companies launder advertising by paying an influencer to pretend that their endorsement or petition against UMG, which we'll get to in a minute, Drake alleges that there is a conspiracy by UMG and possible third parties to use Payola to boost Not Like Us. He says, quote, petitioner has learned of at least one UMG employee making payments to an independent radio promoter who has agreed to transfer those payments to certain radio stations and or radio station employees. These radio stations subsequently played Not Like Us, and to petitioner's knowledge, did so without disclosing to their listeners that they had been paid by UMG to do so.
It's almost like he's familiar with it because that's what they did for his stuff.
Now, Drake says he hasn't been able to, quote, confirm whether
that's real specific.
The iHeartRadio stations were among the stations paid as part of UMG's pay-to-play scheme, or whether there were any direct payments from UMG to iHeartRadio to promote Not Like Us.
How many awards Drake got from iHeartMedia?
But he goes on, quote, given iHeartMedia's status as the #1 audio company in the country, petitioner believes that UMG engaged in similar tactics to drive radio play of Not Like Us on iHeartMedia stations. And Drake claims that a whistleblower backs up his claims. Quote, one whistleblower whose identity is unknown revealed publicly that someone from management paid him thousands of dollars on May.
This is what I call BS on. He's saying this about one whistleblower, unknown identity. The dude was on DJ Academic Stream and he cites DJ Academic Stream in the notes. Mind you, it was that guy that said, oh, I got paid, what did he say? 5,000 to buy 30 million streams for Not Like Us. You have Axe number. If you were serious about this, you would have put the dude's name in here. Say, I have someone who's going to testify that they were paid to do botted streams for this song. Because you could have just hit up Axe, said, yo, what's that guy's name? Like, let me get in contact with him so he can be on my lawsuit. You ain't even do that. You're trying to you're telling this to the court in a way that makes it say, oh yeah, we got a whistleblower. It's like, we don't know who it is though. You playing crazy. You playing crazy to just pad the stuff you have in here to make it look more substantive than it is. This is like a bunch of fluff. This is fluff. It rings very hollow. Like, and you could tell he doesn't really have much there. When he gets to a point where you're citing DJ Academic Streams, it really gets to a point, chat. DJ Academics being cited as a source in a pre-lawsuit petition in big 2024.
2024, to use bots to achieve 30 million streams of Not Like Us on Spotify in the days immediately after its release to turn Not Like Us
exactly, because he resonates with XQC more. He resonates with XQC. So seen. So, not surprising. Mal and academics do all that meat riding and meat munching just for him to not even give them a look. Drake was supposed to have been to the stream with academics.
Into a crazy hit. Bots appear to be real social media accounts, but are in fact software programs designed to mimic human behavior. And the petition cites this video from YouTuber Jamisco Dawn.
Relationships with them and their label and their managers.
Okay.
So there's certain people who I would never do that to out of respect. But the most recent song I did do all the bots for, well, most of it and the marketing was Not Like Us.
So the upshot of this petition is that he has enough smoke to think that there's a fire, and he needs the court's permission to get information that would back up his claims. And there's another interesting piece to this potential lawsuit. Drake is signed to Republic Records, which is a subsidiary of UMG, so in this petition he accuses his own label of radically departing from industry norms to boost his rival. Quote, in order to create incentives for high visibility influencers to spread Not Like Us, in what appears to be a radical departure from long-standing internal policy at UMG, UMG removed copyright restrictions on Not Like Us on YouTube and Twitch, thereby whitelisting the song. So the idea is that YouTubers could use a song without paying a fee, which would boost its reach. Although from my perspective as a YouTuber, that's kind of a stupid idea, because if you use copyrighted music, your video often gets demonetized, but that doesn't change the reach of the video itself. Unless a label actively blocks the video that uses the copyrighted music, it'll get exactly the same distribution as it would otherwise. And
the only thing is you're not getting paid.
Monetization has no effect on the search and discovery algorithm.
Exactly.
So what does Drake want the judge to do? Well, he wants to be able to conduct pre-suit depositions from representatives of UMG and iHeartMedia, And this is typical of civil suits. The plaintiff usually asks the defendants to identify the people who have information relevant to the plaintiff's claims, and those depositions are treated as if the anticipated lawsuit has already been filed, following the same discovery rules applicable to non-party depositions in active cases. And in New York, Drake filed a petition for pre-action discovery against UMG and Spotify. The petition alleges that UMG engaged in deceptive practices to artificially inflate the streaming numbers of Not Like Us, and this filing is not the same as a lawsuit. Section 3102 of the New York Civil Practice Law and Rules allow a potential plaintiff to obtain discovery before filing a formal suit, and plaintiffs typically use the pre-discovery.
The label gives artists freedom to choose whether or not a song can get the green light like Kendrick did. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's the crazy part. After content creators were giving Kendrick props for turning off the copyright restrictions and letting creators get ad revenue off of the reactions, right? After that, Drake decided to do that for the next song he released. So I'm trying to understand how I know, because I did reactions to both and I literally watched it happen. After Kendrick got credit, Drake's like, oh, let me go do that for my next song. I think it was Family Matters or something. One of them, look, it was one of them. So I'm just like, Drake, we can see you, right?
filings to preserve critical evidence or assess the viability of a claim. And a party seeking pre-action discovery has to—
And then he realized that's not the reason the song got the reach, gang. It's because people hate you and people have been tired. So, yeah. I don't know how to break it to him, man. Oh, hold on, wrong tab.
To file a motion with the trial court in New York, and it's not meant to be a fishing expedition. A potential plaintiff must ask the court's permission, and the court has the discretion to grant or deny the request based on the merits and necessity. And here, Drake claims that UMG used bots and payola schemes to boost Not Like Us, which hurt his career. UMG allegedly offered Spotify reduced licensing fees in exchange for disproportionately promoting Not Like Us. Quote, streaming and licensing is a zero-sum game. Every time a song breaks through, it means another artist does not.
That first two sentences is just so hilarious, because it's like, so what does that mean for your career, where they literally were pushing you more than anyone we ever seen in our lifetime? And your songs were breaking all the record. Like, you're literally talking about yourself more than anyone else, right? Because remember, number-wise I'm out of here, they not fucking creeping up. Or whatever the hell he said in that song, right? It's almost as if that's what people have been saying. You eliminating other artists out of existence, you co-opting different genres and dominating it more than the actual subgenres you're stealing from. You taking other artists' sauce in their streams. That's literally what your whole career has been. And how he can't see that that's why the songs Kendrick did resonated so much. It's crazy. Outside of the cultural things, just in terms of the music stuff.
UMG's choice to saturate the music market with Not Like Us comes at the expense of other artists like Drake. He says the company's paid influencers, radio stations, and others to inflate the track's performance metrics without disclosing these payments. And the defendants allegedly used bots to simulate streams, creating the appearance of greater popularity. And Drake says that if he can get the discovery, he can prove the defendants violated the Racketeer, Influence, and Corrupt Organizations Act, which is known as RICO, as well as New York's deceptive business practices and false advertising acts. Drake believes, probably incorrectly, he has a viable civil RICO claim with predicate acts of wire fraud, mail fraud, and/or bribery for UMG's payments to unknown third parties in the form of reduced licensing fees to Spotify. But his lawyers need information from defendants to prove it. Quote, specifically, petitioner requires information about the method by which the third parties were paid in order to determine which underlying predicate acts to plead, and requires information about which benefits were conferred upon UMG in exchange for the payments. Additionally, petitioners lack sufficient information to identify the third parties.
You say your frames are framing? Wait, what? Elaborate.
In conspiracy with UMG. And Drake says these practices harm consumers and violate general business law section 349, which prohibits deceptive or misleading acts or practices in the conduct of any business, trade, or commerce, or in the furnishing of services in New York. Now, Universal Music told TMZ, quote, the suggestion that UMG would do anything to undermine any of its artists is offensive and untrue. We employ the—
And this is BS too. I hate how this whole situation makes me feel like, I don't know. But yeah, Okay, let's keep going.
Highest ethical practices in our marketing and
I
promotional.
just think this is interesting. But yeah, I was saying I hate how this damn near makes it seem like I'm like defending UMG when I'm really not. Like I'm really not. I'm not on their side at all. I hate them and I would love for them to go down, but I know this is not gonna be why. This isn't gonna be it.
Campaigns.
But so the suggestion UMG would do anything to undermine its artists is offensive and untrue. We employ the highest ethical practices in our marketing and promotional campaigns. No, y'all don't. Stop the cap.
Amount of contrived or absurd legal arguments in this pre-action submission can mask the fact that fans chose the music that they want to hear. So do Drake's claims have any merit? So far they look pretty tenuous. The petitions admit they don't have enough evidence at the moment to substantiate the legal claims, and Drake would need concrete evidence of intentional manipulation and direct link between the manipulation and damages. But it's also possible this pre-suit discovery might turn up some smoking guns. And alternatively, maybe he has an ulterior motive and he just wants to get out of his contract with UMG. And for that, I can't blame him. But this kind of pre-suit discovery is pretty rare, so it's unlikely to go too far. So Drake lost the rap battle, made himself look like a wuss, and ultimately probably won't have anything to show for it.
And now, Drake out here got legal eagle calling him a wuss. That's crazy. I ain't heard that one in a minute.
Whether or not UMG actually whitelisted Kendrick's song or not, dealing with bogus copyright claims is something that all of us creators have to deal with, which makes being a creator really difficult when you're dealing with popular media like movies or music. Which is why—
oh yeah, he about to send us to ad. Thank you, Legal Eagle, for the video. Y'all let me know what y'all think over on YouTube. Appreciate y'all checking it out. Drop a follow to the Twitch. The link's pinned in the comments in the description. Like, comment, and sub. Until next time, you guys, we're out.